Welcome to capacity building programs of National Mission on Libraries. I'll be talking on understanding modern library standards, Mark 21 and Dublin Core. First, we'll start with the objectives of this module. The module intends to impart knowledge of the following aspects of Mark 21 and Dublin Core metadata standard. After going through this module, you will be able to understand basics of bibliographic standard, concept of Mark 21, concept of Dublin Core, basics of Mark tagging system, basics of Dublin Core metadata elements, and record structure of Mark 21. First, we'll try to understand Mark 21. The core of the automated system is the bibliographic information that describes the material and the collection of libraries and provides search terms so that these materials can be discovered. It not only provides a means for the user to search the library collection, but also helps the library professionals in managing the library collections. Over the years, catalogers have defined various rules for standardization of the bibliographic information related to the library records. The most prominent and widely used library cataloging standard or rule is AACR2, which is quite comprehensive but are restricted to choice and rendering of bibliographic elements. They do not delve into encoding of bibliographic elements in an automated library system. The Mark 21, the full form is Machine Readable Catalog, are standards for the representation and communication of bibliographic and related information in machine-readable form. The Mark code does not provide an instruction on description of library materials, but is a standard for format for bibliographic information into a computerized record. It is used to create catalog record in a way so that computers can read and interpret. Simple book has two types of information, that is authority and bibliographic. The information from a catalog card cannot simply be typed into a computer to become part of an automated catalog. The computer needs some program or code to interpret the information that is available in specific format on a catalog card. Mark standard has ability to encode the bibliographic information in machine readable format. The Mark 21 record contains various signposts before each piece of catalog information so that it can be identified easily. It is an important bibliographic standard that ensures effective and efficient retrieval of data through online public access catalog. The short form of online public access catalog is OPAC. It offers variety of tags to store and describe related information that can be used for searching a catalog item. Now we will try to understand structure of Mark 21. A Mark record consists of three elements, that is record structure, content designation, and content of the record. Now we will try to understand first record structure. The Mark standard presents a generalized structure for bibliographic, authority, and holding data. However, it does not specify the content of a record. In simple words, the record structure provides information on tags, indicators, and data elements that are used to create the record. Now, content designation. Predefined codes that are used as prefix to the data elements within a record to support their manipulation as defined in the Mark 21 formats. The content designation is designed to support the functions of formatting the data for display, such as printing of card catalog, production of machine readable catalogs, printing of bibliographies, etc. It is also used for information retrieval of the records. For example, content designation for author is 100 and for title is 245. Content. Content in most data elements is defined and rendered in accordance to standards such as Anglo-American cataloging rules. The information in a MARC record is stored in character form and records are coded in extended ASCII format. MARC 21 record contains leader, directory, and variable fields. The leader is a 24 character fixed field that stores important information about the MARC record required for processing of the record through computer. Directory is an index to the location of variable fields within a record and starts at position 24. It has an entry for each MARC field that contains 3 characters tag, field length in 4 characters, and starting position for each field in 5th characters. The variable fields are classified into variable control fields and variable data fields. The content in MARC record is divided into leader, directory, and variable fields. Now we'll try to understand what is leader. The leader is first field in the MARC 21 record and has a fixed length of 24 characters. In octets, position 0 to 23. So total there are 24 characters, but it starts from the 0. So that is why it is counted as a 0 to 23. It has a 24 characters. Only graphical characters of ASCII are allowed in the leader. The structure of the leader defines in the MARC 21 is given in this example. The leader is first filled in any MARC record and has a fixed length of 24 characters. Octet's position is 0 to 23. So there are total 24 characters, but since it is starting from 0, total number of characters till 23 is equal to 0 to 24. Leader. The leader is first filled in any MARC record and has a fixed length of 24 characters. Only graphical characters of ASCII are allowed in the leader. The structure of the leader defined in the MARC 21 is available in the document of MARC 21. The numbers indicate the character positions occupied by each part of the leader. Now we will try to understand the structure of leader in MARC 21 records. Record of length. Record length. Character positions 0 to 4 contains a 5 character ASCII numeric string equal to the length of the entire record, including itself and the record terminator. The 5 character numeric string is write justified and unused positions contains 0. The maximum length of a record is 99,999 octets. Record structure. Character positions 5. Contains an ASCII graphic character which indicates the relation of the record to a file. For example, new record or updated record. Type of record. Character position 6. Contains an ASCII graphic character which specifies the characteristics and defines the components of the record. Implementation defined. Character position 7 to 8. ANSI Z39.2 and ISO 2709 reserve character positions 0708 for definition by a particular implementation. The individual Mark 21 formats define these character positions if needed. Positions may contain only ASCII graphic characters. Any position not defined contains as a blank. Bibliographic label, position number 7, contains an ASCII graphic character which also provides information about the components and characteristics of the record. Kind of data. Character position 7 contains an ASCII graphic character which also provides information about the components and characteristics of the record. Type of control. Character position 8 contains an ASCII graphic character which also provides information about the components and characteristics of the record. Character coding scheme position 9 contains a code that identifies the character coding scheme used in a record. Indicator count, character position 10 contains one ASCII numeric character specifying the number of indicators occurring in each variable data field. In Mark 21 records, the indicator count is always 2. Subfield code length, character position 11 contains only ASCII numeric characters specifying the sum of the length of the delimiter and the data element identifier used in the record. In Mark 21 records, the subfield code length is always 2. The ANSI Z39.2 and ISO 2709 for this data element is identifier length. Base address of data, character positions 12 to 16 contains 5 ASCII numeric characters that specify the first character position of the first variable field in the record. It is equal to the sum of the length of the leader and directory, including the field terminator at the end of the directory. The number is write justified and unused position contains 0. Implementation defined. Character position 17 to 19. ANSI Z39.2 and ISO 2709 reserve character positions 17 to 19 for definition by a particular implementation. The individual Mark 21 formats define these character positions if needed. Positions may contain only ASCII graphic characters. Any positions not defined contains a blank. Entry map, character position 20 to 23 contains 4 single-digit ASCII numeric characters that specify the structure of the entries in the directory. Length of field, character position 20 specifies the length of the part of each directory entry. In Mark 21 records, it is always set to 4. Length of starting character positions starts with character position 20 first, specifies the length of that part of each directory entry. In Mark 21 record, it is always set to 5. Length of implementation defined, character position 22 specifies that part of each directory entry. In Mark 21 records, a directory entry does not contain any implementation defined portion and therefore this position is always set to 0. Undefined, character position 23. This character position is undefined, it is always set to 0. Now we will try to understand directory. The directory is an index to the location of data within a record, consisting of a series of fixed length entries with one entry for each variable field presented in a record. Each directory entry has 12 characters in length, starting with position 0 and ending with position 11. Each entry contains 3 portions, that is field tag, field length and starting character position. Directory is located in the record at 24th position and it follows the leader. Directory for all types of mark record is mandatory and does not have any indicators and subfield codes. The positions and the descriptions 0 to 02, that is for tag. So total 3 characters are used for tag. 0 to 2 are used for tags. Positions in a directory. Positions in a directory 0 to 2 is used for tag. So total 3 character tag. 3 to 6 is the field length and 7 to 11 is the starting character position. Directory entries for variable control fields appear first, sequenced by tag in increasing numerical order. The stored sequence of the variable data field in a record does not necessarily correspond to the order of the directory entries. Duplicate tags are distinguished only by the location of the respective fields within the record. The directory ends with a field terminator. The directory ends with a field terminator character or ASCII 1E hexadecimal character. Variable fields. We will try to understand control fields and variable data fields. The 00x fields in the Mark 21 formats are variable control fields. Variable control fields contains of data and a field terminator. They contain neither indicators nor subfield code. Variables control fields contain either a single data element or a series of fixed length data elements identified by relative character position. Variable data fields. All fields except 00x are available data fields. Variable data fields. All fields except 00x are variable data fields. 4 levels of content designation are provided for variable data fields in ANSI Z39.2. A 3-character tag stored in the directory entry. Indicators stored in the beginning of each variable data field. The number of indicators being reflected in ladder 10. Indicator count. Subfield codes preceding each data element. The length of the code being reflected in ladder 11th character position. Subfield code count. A field terminator following the last data element in the field. In variable data fields, the indicator contains value conveying information that interprets or supplements the data found in the field. The Mark 21 formats specify 2 indicator positions at the beginning of each variable data field. Indicators are defined independently for each field. Parallel meanings are preserved whenever possible. Indicator values are interpreted independently, meaning is not ascribed to the 2 indicators taken together. Indicators may be any lowercase alphabetic or numeric character or blank, means hash. Numeric values are defined first. A blank or hash is used in an undefined indicator positions or to mean information not provided in the definition indicator position. Indicators may be any lowercase alphabetic or numeric character or a blank. Numeric values are defined first. A blank is used in an undefined indicator position or to mean information not provided in a defined indicator position. The blank may have specific meaning when necessary for forward compatibility. The value 9xx is reserved for local implementation. The variable field in mark record may have 1 to 9999 characters. Variable field is bifurcated in tags, indicators, and subfields. Each variable field has three parts, that is, tags, 3 digits numeric code, indicators, maximum 2 digits, and subfield codes, maximum 1 digit. Now we will try to understand what is tags. The 3-digit numeric tags are assigned to the fields that they represent. It is possible that the tag may appear more than once in a record, thus it is labeled as repeatable. The fields that are not appearing more than once are labeled as non-repeatable. For example, a catalog record can have several subject headings, so the tags for subject heading added entries 6xx are labeled as repeatable and title statement is labeled as non-repeatable. We will try to understand Mark 21 tagging system using the picture given in the module. Main entries 1xx. So main entry personal name is 100, main entry corporate name is 110, main entry meeting name is 110. We will try to understand Mark 21 tagging system using picture. Main entries starts with 1xx. Main entry personal name 100, main entry corporate name 110, main entry meeting name 111, main entry uniform title 130. Series is stored in 4xx tags. Subject headings are stored in 6xx tags. Personal subject heading or subject heading as a personal name goes in the 600 field. Corporate name subject heading goes in the 610. Conference subject heading goes in the 620. Uniform subject heading goes in the 630. 653 used for uncontrolled vocabulary. 650 used for keywords, topical terms. Now indicators. There are total 2 indicators for each field. Each indicator has a single character and positions of both the indicators for each tag. Indicators are not applicable to first 9 tags, that is 01 to 09. Indicators. There are total 2 indicators for each field. Each indicator has a single character and positions of both the indicators follow each tag. Indicators are not applicable to first 9 tags, that is 001 to 009. One or both of these character positions may be used for indicators. In some fields, only the first or second position is used. In some fields, both are used, and in some fields, like field number 0, 20, and 300, it is never used. When an indicator position is not used, that indicator is referred to as undefined and the position is left as blank. It is the convention to represent a blank or undefined indicator position by the character hash. Each indicator value is a number from 0 to 9. However, 2 indicators together may look like a 2-digit number. They really are 2 single-digit numbers. The allowable indicator values and their meanings are spelled out in the Mark 21 documentation. The following example shows the first 3 digits are the tag number for title field, that is 245 defined for the title, and extend to that next 2 digits, that is 1 and 4 are indicator values. The 1 is the first indicator and the 4 is the second indicator. Subfield codes. All the data in each field beginning with the 010 field is divided into subfields, each of which is preceded by a delimiter subfield code combination. The most common subfield codes used with each tag are shown in the example. Each subfield code is preceded by the character dollar signifying as a delimiter. The example is given in the module. Sample record is given in the module. You can understand while reading. Types of Mark 21 standard. Mark 21 is grouped into 5 major categories based on data type, that is bibliography, authority, holding, classification, community. It is necessary to understand bibliographic, authority and holding tags related information, as in day-to-day work all these tags are used. Mark 21 standard is bifurcated in 5 authority. Mark 21 fields are authority data. Authority. Mark 21 fields for authority data is designed for storing information concerning the authorized form of personal names, subject keywords and subject subdivisions. The information which is repeatable and needs to be entered in the specific form without any spelling mistake is stored in the authority files. The term personal name refers to personal name X00, corporate names X10, meeting names X11, names of jurisdictions X51, uniform titles X30. The term subject refers to topical terms, that is X50, topical terms, geographic names, and geographic names, the tag is X51 used for subject subdivision, generic subject subdivision. Chronological term X48, names of the subject subdivision, uniform titles with subject subdivision X30. Bibliographic tags. The Mark 21 fields for bibliographic data is designed to store bibliographic information about printed materials, computer files, maps, music, serials, etc. Bibliographic data commonly includes title, names, subjects, notes, imprint information, and information about the physical description of an item. The bibliographic format contains data elements for various types of material, that is books, continuing resources, that is serial publications, computer files, maps, music, visual materials, mixed materials, etc. The bibliographic data refers to the following tags, that is 0xx numbers and codes, 1xx main entry fields, 20x to 24x title and related fields, 25x to 29x addition, imprint, etc. 3xx physical description, 4xx series statement, 5xx note fields, 6xx subject access fields, 700 to 75x added entry fields, 76x to 79x linking entry fields, 800 to 840 series added entry, 9xx locally defined fields. Third is holding types. Third is holding data. The Mark 21 format for holding data is designed to store holdings information for 3 types of bibliographic items that are identified a core available in ladder 06 type of record. Single part item, an item which is complete in a single physical part, for example, a single map, a 1 volume book, a computer file, etc. Multi-part item, an item which is complete or intended to be complete in a finite definite number of multi-part item, an item which is complete or intended to be complete in a definite number of separate physical parts. For example, a set of map, a musical score and parts, a 10 volume essay encyclopedia, multimedia kit, a musical collection, etc. Series item, serial item, an item which is issued in successive parts at regular or irregular intervals and is intended to be continued indefinitely. For example, a journal. Serials item, an item which is used in successive parts at regular or irregular intervals and is intended to be continued indefinitely. For example, journal. Following tags are used to store holding information of various types of metadata fields. Captions and patterns, field number 853 to 855. Enumeration and chronology, 863 to 865. Textual holdings, 866 to 868. Item information, 876 to 878. Now we will try to understand Dublin Core Metadata Standard. Dublin Core Metadata Standard is used for describing digital documents. The standard named as Dublin Core because it was involved in an invitational workshop held at Dublin, Ohio during 1995, and core is added because all the elements defined in the standard are broad, generic, and usable in describing wide range of digital resources. It is also known as a standard for cross-reference description of digital resources. Before we understand Dublin Core Metadata Initiative, we have to understand what is metadata. The metadata is nothing but a textual description about an object. The object could be anything, it could be a print or a digital. Characteristics of Dublin Core. Simplicity. It is very simple and easy to understand. There is no technical competencies required to understand Dublin Core Metadata Standard. Semantic and interoperability. It is a compatible with semantic web and also supports interoperability. One can migrate from one software package to another software package whenever required. International consensus. Dublin Core is widely accepted as a metadata standard by the information scientists all over the world. Extensibility. It is very flexible and easy. One can define his own elements as per the requirement while working. Metadata modularity on the web. Metadata elements from different schemas as well as vocabularies and other building blocks can be combined in a syntactical and systemical metadata modularity on the web. Metadata elements from different schemas as well as vocabularies and other building blocks can be combined in a syntactically and semantically interoperable way. There are total 15 Dublin Core elements, that is title, creator, subject, description, publisher, contributor, date, type, format, identifier, source, language, relation, coverage, rights, etc. Now we will try to understand what kind of information is being stored in these elements. Title, a name given to the resource. For example, title of any video file, audio file, painting, photo, or a document. Subject, the topic of the resources. Typically, the topic is represented using keywords, key phrases, or classification codes. For example, Library of Congress subject heading or the subject specific nomenclature. Description: an account of the resource. Description may include, but is not limited to, an abstract, a table of content, a graphical representation, or a free text account of the resource. For example, a photo caption, descriptive information of an artifact or museum object, summary of a lesson plan, or abstract or summary of a long document. Creator: an entity primarily responsible for making the resource. For example, author, editor, artist, photographers, institutional authors, or producer such as university or federal agency. Source: the resource from which the described resource is derived. The described resource may be derived from the related source's whole or in a part. For example, accession number, collection of objects, division of an archive or library. Publisher: an entity responsible for making the resource available. For example, actual publisher, if there is one, or any entity who is responsible for publishing an object. Date: a point or period of time associated. Date: a point or period of time associated with an event in the life cycle of the resource. Date may be used to express temporal information at any level of granularity. Contributor: an entity responsible for making contributions to the resources. For example, person who contributed a story or file for an Omeka collecting project, or owner or donor of collected objects. Rights: information about rights held in and over the resources. Typically, rights information includes a statement about various property rights associated with the resource, including intellectual property rights. For example, spell out conditions of use of specific rights. Information about rights held in and over the resources. Typically, rights information includes a statement about various property rights associated with the resource, including intellectual property rights. For example, spell out conditions of use for specific items here: Creative Commons types, public domain. Relation: a related resource. Recommended best practice is to identify the related resource by many relation. A related resource. Recommended best practice is to identify the related resource by means of a string conforming to a formal identification system. Format: the file format, physical medium, or dimension of a resource. Language: a language of the resource, for example, English, Russian, Spanish, etc. Type: the nature of genre of the resource, for example, document, moving image, oral history, sound, still image, website, event, email, etc. Identifier: an unambiguous reference to the resource within a given context, for example, DOI or URL. Coverage: the spatial or temporal topic of the resource, the spatial applicability of the resource, or the jurisdiction under which the resource is relevant. Temporal topic may be a named period, date, or date range. A jurisdiction may be a named administrative entity or a geographic place to which the resource applies. This is an example of Dublin Core metadata elements encoded record. Thank you.